books, I believe, either 26 or 27. It's a lot. You may be wondering how I read so many books. The reason for that is because I took almost 2 weeks off of work for my birthday. My boyfriend got me this tablet and I've read on it pretty much every single day. I finished a book. Some of these were really short too, less than 100 pages. Most of these are thrillers. There's a lot of romance as well. Just a lot of horror books. So yes, let's get started. The order that I'm doing these is from recently read to the oldest read. So let's get started. This is pretty much gonna be just flash reviews, a quick summary. I say this in every video, but it's that time where the kids are getting off of school. There's a lot of activity on the road, so I apologize for any cars that you may hear. The first book that I'm going to be talking about is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is a thriller. Taylor Adams is an author from Washington State. Basically what this book is about, it's about a girl named Darby Thorne who is on a road trip to Utah to see her dying mom. And in the middle of the road trip there is a huge blizzard, and so she gets stuck at a rest stop in the mountains of Colorado with 4 other strangers. And she goes outside to try to find a signal for her phone, and she sees that in one of the vehicles there's a van with a little girl in the back of the van inside of a cage. And so the premise is she has to ride out this storm with 4 other strangers and basically figure out who has this little girl kidnapped, and she has to figure out who to trust. I like this book a lot. Some of the stuff in it was really unrealistic. It was super fast-paced. The entire story takes place in 12 hours. The chapters are named after the time that it is, so it starts around 5 p.m. and the book ends at 6:22 a.m. I believe. I think I gave this a 4-star on Goodreads. If you're interested in more in-depth reviews, I have a Goodreads. I will link it down below. I recently made an account, added all the books that I've read this year, and it's been really fun. So I believe it's goodreads.com/morbidcatmom if you're interested. So the next book is Behind Closed Doors by P.A. Paris. And this is another thriller. It's about a couple named Jack and Grace who seem to have the perfect marriage. The premise is basically things aren't always as they seem on the outside. I really like this one. I felt like the ending was a bit rushed. It wasn't as satisfying for me as I hoped it was. It touches a lot on emotional abuse, a lot of mental abuse. I felt really bad for the woman in this story. The next book that I have is Every Last Secret by A.R. Torre. This author, I will be reading more stuff from them. This was so good. I really liked this one. It is about these 2 married couples, Kat and William, Nina and Matt, I believe his name is. I already forgot what his name was. But basically, they will do anything to keep their relationships perfect. This is a good book if you like couples and drama to the max. There is a lot of drama in this. There's affairs, lies, manipulation. Just, I think both couples are insane in this book. Specifically, both of the female main characters. I think they're both equally crazy. it's just lots of karma gets served, lessons get learned. I really liked this one, and it was a short read. On that same author, I read The Good Lie, another book by A.R. Torre. This book is about a psychiatrist named Gwen, who is a psychiatrist for serial killers, past, current, and future. And there is a serial killer going around called the Bloody Hearts Killer, who has murdered 6 teenage boys, and one of the victims is the son of Robert Cavin, who is a very well-known lawyer. He is a defense attorney, and there is a man who is the teacher of the local school who gets convicted of the murder. One of his victims escapes, and Robert decides to be his defense attorney, and he recruits Gwen to create a psychological profile analysis for him. And in the process of investigating this whole case and the court trials and everything, Gwen and Robert start to develop feelings for each other, but there is more to it than meets the eye. That's why it's called The Good Lie. There's a lot of lies, a lot of secrets to be uncovered. I really enjoyed this one, and I will be reading more from this author. This one was also a short read. It was less than 300 pages. The next book, Off Season by Jack Ketchum. This book is like if you put Texas Chainsaw Massacre into a book. That's the best way I can describe it. The main character moves to the middle of nowhere in the boonies, and she invites her friends over, her 4 friends, to visit her in this cabin that she just moved to. And there is a feral family living in the woods who hunt humans and eat them, basically. And so during this entire book, they're just trying to escape them. It's really graphic, really gory. Basically, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a book. It wasn't my favorite, but I didn't hate it. Maybe I'm just desensitized, but it wasn't as bad. Everybody was saying this was disgusting, but it was pretty tame to me. The next book that I have is Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. This one is a psychological thriller with a bit of supernatural elements. It is basically about a woman who is convinced that someone is trying to sabotage her pregnancy. Both female main character in this, her name is Anna Alcott, and she has struggled with her fertility, has undergone IVF and all the things. She finally gets pregnant and everything starts to go wrong. Her appointments keep getting swapped. She loses her medication. She is seeing things in the corner of her eyes. There's a lot of mentions of miscarriage in this and just fertility issues. I think this is a really good book, and it sends a good message about the struggles that women go through in pregnancy and how the medical field, specifically men in the medical field, just don't listen to the concerns that women have. I really liked this. It was really different. Again, it had a supernatural element to it, which I liked. I didn't mind it at is so pretty, but I just did not like anything about this book. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like any of the love interest. They were all really annoying. I already forgot her name. The female main character is 18 years old and she turns 19 in the book. She's a teenager, she's really young, and she's in a love triangle with these two other guys who are in their mid-20s. I believe they're 25 and 26. And this is supposed to be a Robin Hood retelling. I hated it. The female main character, I already forgot her name. I just remember the male character's name. I believe it's Dominic and Nate. This book was so bad. I don't even remember any of the characters' names, but she's a teenager and they're in their mid-20s, and listen, I don't mind age gaps, but the way that they treat her is just garbage. They treat her like she's straight up trash. They're condescending towards her. They're constantly mentioning her age. Just like, oh, you're a little girl. You don't know anything about the world. You don't know this. You can't do that. Just at some point, one of the dudes breaks her phone because he gets annoyed that she's using it too much around him. And I just don't think that any of the main characters worked well for each other. I have DNF'd this series. The ending confused me. The last couple of chapters was a WTF moment. I had no idea what was going on. It was so bad. This book is so forgetful for me, and it is one of the biggest disappointments of the year for me so far. This next book is called The Never King by Nikki St. Crow. It is a Peter Pan retelling story, and this was a fun read. It was really smutty. I really liked it. This is book 1 of 4 in the Vicious Lost Boys series by her, I believe. The main character is 17 years old at the start of the story. She turns 18 throughout the book, in the first couple of pages actually. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed this. I liked the smutty scenes. There's 4 guys in this. So it's like a reverse harem type of thing. I DNF this series. I really liked this book. I enjoyed this, and then I went to read the second book, and it's revealed that the guys have been alive for thousands of years and met the female main character, love interest's mom, when she was pregnant with her. So that just gave me the ick. So quick intermission and outfit change. It is now the next day. I got interrupted while filming and I wasn't able to finish the video. It's raining outside now and there's so much noise, so I'm sorry, but continuing where I left off, Fae Princess, who have been alive for 1,000 years, that choose to sleep with a barely legal 18-year-old. It just gives me the ick. If you don't mind that trope, it's fine. But for me, I don't like it. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is the second book that I'm mentioning now that takes place in a snowy setting. So in this book, our couple is Adam and Amelia. They've been married for 10 years and they're going through a rough patch in their marriage. Amelia, the wife, wins a getaway to a snowy, ancient castle type of thing, and she wants to use this area. They all live at the last house at the end of their street. And at the beginning of the story, there is a girl who goes missing at the local lake, and she is never seen again. So the missing girl's sister moves in right next to Ted because she believes that Ted is the one that killed her sister. A lot of people really like this book. For me, it was okay. It was a little confusing at times. The dialogue was really hard to follow, but I see the appeal of it. I gave this one 3 stars on Goodreads, I believe. The next book that I finished is The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Morinova. This book is about a 26-year-old woman who tries to kill herself at the beginning of the book, and she ends up going to this mental health rehabilitation center called Harlow Sanctum, where she gets a male roommate who ends up being her love interest. And there have been several patients that have gone missing from this rehabilitation center. Okay, hello everybody. Change of setting again. I have realized that it is just better for me to record at night, so that's what we're gonna do. Continuing where I left off, throughout the entire story, they're trying to solve where all of these missing patients went while trying to navigate their love life. We still have so many books left to talk about, but the next one is Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. This book creeped me out so much. I want to say that this is the definition of jump scare in a book. I remember when I was reading this, my boyfriend was playing his video games and he dropped his vape on the hardwood floor and I shot up straight out of my skin. That's how scared I was. It just terrified me. This is a supernatural horror book about Native American folklore. It takes place in a snowy setting in a remote cabin deep in the woods. This is not the book that you want to read if you are on a romantic winter getaway at a cabin. What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Absolutely amazing book. This one is about a daughter who keeps her mother chained up in the attic of their home. And I had a really hard time trying to feel any empathy for either of them. I didn't know who I should feel bad for. I think the mom and the daughter are both equally insane. This story is really messed up. A lot of lies. Their story could have been avoided if they were just honest with each other. I love this so much and I'm gonna be reading more from John Mars, definitely. The next 2 books go hand in hand, but it is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry and its sequel, A Welcome Reunion. This one, it can be read as a standalone, but I think you would understand it better if you read this one first. But The Perfect Child is basically about this couple who both work at a hospital. I forgot their names. The couple in this book, I don't remember if they have fertility issues or if they just want a kid and just haven't gotten around to it yet. They want a child and they decide to adopt this girl who turns up at the hospital that has suffered a lot of abuse. They decide to take her in and she begins to show psychopathic tendencies. This one, A Welcome Reunion, is basically the aftermath of the ending of this book. It kind of ends in a cliffhanger. I felt, though, that this book was unnecessary. I felt it was really rushed, and the ending for me wasn't satisfying. I honestly think I could have gone without this. I liked this one so much more. The next book is another one by Lucinda Berry called Saving Noah. This one is about a 16-year-old boy named Noah who is trying to integrate himself into the real world after spending time in jail for assaulting these 9-year-old girls. This one is really dark. It's really heavy, obviously. And the mom moves out with him, and he tries to go back to school and have a normal life, but he can't because of the crimes that he committed against these two little girls. I really like this. It definitely gives you a lot to think about. Hidden Pictures by Jason Regulak. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so if I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. But this is a horror thriller type of book. This book is about a recovering addict who starts babysitting for this family, and their son draws very creepy pictures. So it's one of those things where the kid, he draws the creepy pictures. The cool thing about this one, though, that I really liked is that in the book it includes actual illustrations that the boy is drawing, and they're really creepy. It looks exactly like a child drew them. They're in crayon, and even on the cover photo, they're really clever. You can see that the trees, it looks like somebody drew them with a crayon. But I really like this one. It's just a classic kid drawing creepy pictures trope, but it was really fun. I recommend this one a lot. Baby Teeth by Soji Stage. This one was creepy, and it made me not want to be a mom even more than I already don't. I already have no desire to have kids ever, but this just cemented it for me. I could not stand being a parent. This one is about a mom and her daughter, and the daughter has a creepy obsession with her dad and also shows psychopathic tendencies, and it is really creepy. It's told from the point of view of the mom and the daughter. Her name is Hannah. I forgot the mom's name, but it alternates every chapter between both of their POVs, and just seeing the daughter's point of view, she's a literal 7-year-old, and just the way she thinks about her dad and how obsessed she is with him and how much she hates her mom. It was really, really unsettling. And the dad obviously doesn't see this behavior because her mood switches like a light when he's around. When the dad is around, she doesn't show any of her evil behaviors, but when she's alone with the mom, that's when she gets really scary. This next one I gave a 5 stars on Goodreads, and it is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This book was chef's kiss. It was so good, so smutty. It's a Peter Pan retelling with Captain Hook and Wendy, and they're in their 20s, and everything about this was perfect. bunch of different ones. I think there's a total of 6 books, including this one. But I loved this one. Everything about it was perfect. I loved all the spicy scenes. We're getting close to the end, but this next book is called Before and After by Andrew Shanahan. It is an end of the world weight loss epic. It's about this man named Ben Stone who lives with his dog Brown, and Ben weighs about 600 pounds and he is about to have surgery and is about to be lowered onto the ground by a crane because he lives on the last floor of his apartment. I forgot how many floors it has, but as he gets strapped to the crane and is about to be lowered, the world ends. There is an apocalypse, and he is just strapped to this crane and has no way of moving, and he doesn't know what is going on. All the paramedics that are supposed to be helping him just run away. And it's a really scary scenario to think about, just thinking about being stuck somewhere where you're immobile and the world just erupts into chaos and you don't know what is going on. It's just a terrifying thought, and it's a terrifying scenario when you think about it. I really like this one. There's 2 books in this series. The other book, the second book, is called Flesh and Blood, I believe. I haven't read that one yet, but I probably will this month. It's on my list. I can't wait to finish this series. I just had to let my cat in, but the next book is Brother by Anaya Alborn. This book is almost 5 stars for me. The ending of this was so tragic. It's about this family called the Moros, and they live in a rural area, and their family has these really weird traditions. They kidnap girls. A lot of girls in the local area go missing, and they are responsible for it. And one of the family members, Michael, he's the main character, he wants to break free of his family's sadistic rituals. That noise that you just heard is my cat. I don't know if you can see her, but she likes to climb into the closet and then pretend that she can't get down. Necrosis by Rainy Havoc. I went into this blind, and it's just straight up NSFW content, but I really liked it. It's a revenge-seeking succubus story, and it's really good. It's a short read. It's less than 100 pages. Broken Dolls by Meek Watson. I gave this a 1 star. It's a Splatter Punk type of book. There's a lot of assault and brutal violence for no reason. I have a review on this on Goodreads if you guys want a more in-depth thoughts on my opinion. I just look up trigger warnings at your own discretion. I just found this book unnecessary. Speaking of unnecessary, I had no idea why this was written. It's called No One Writes for Free by Judith Sonnet. This one is about a mom who is traveling with her 2 teenagers. She stops at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, and they get held hostage at gunpoint by this man, and he tortures them and forces them to do unspeakable things to each other. Again, a lot of brutal violence and trauma inflicted on characters for no reason. Does nothing for the plot or character development, just a gore, violent smutty fest. Just don't think Splatter Punk is my thing. Excuse the state of my nails. I'm trying to grow them out and one of them broke. Anyways, we are at the final 2 books. The Cat and Mouse Duet, Haunting Adeline, and Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Haunting Adeline was painful to get through. Can you see my cat? This book was so slow. It only really picked up for me the last couple of chapters. I don't like this series as much as everybody else does. I don't really like Sade. I get the appeal, but I just don't really care for it. I think stalker romances can be done well,